yeah, there are some football guys down there.
Let's go!
Go, 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 go. Nice. there are 9 forwards, right? 8? What are the other 7 then? Oh yes, there's 5 in total, but
At you, Brian. At you, Brian. Nice.
Sure, I don't know, but yeah.
Little Connor?
Yeah, it was perfect timing. So, I mean, I think it's supposed to be it's four. Yeah. It's four trophy cards with these and college trophies, which is found founded like yeah, so like two guys went to their name extra Michigan in the late 1800s. They had football ties. So somewhere along the way between the rugby thing and the trophy out of it. But yeah, Notre Dame won like every since 2016 when they took over, they won every year except last year. But they keep the extra trophy, so they keep it.
1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6.
1, 2, 3, 4. Yep. Yep.
Okay, thank you.
So it's apparently if you're in the ties and brings in the mirror game versus Michigan football. Yeah, I just read it.
Just start playing music. Okay. I can hook it up, I just don't want to play it.
we are set for the second game of our doubleheader today on the Notre Dame Rugby YouTube channel. You just watched Notre Dame's JV team defeat the Michigan JV team by a handsome 64-0 score. We expect a different result, perhaps, in the second half. Two strong programs out here on Stinson Rugby Field on a Friday night. Charlie Morris alongside my partner, Chris Daly. Chris, big win for the JV team for Notre Dame. What can you expect to see? Do you think that's indicative, perhaps, of what this game will be?
Yeah, I do think it is. It's been a change in momentum ever since we watched that comeback against Western Michigan in the home opener. They went down early on, but ever since then they have not looked back, and I think Notre Dame should take a W today, but it's going to be a fun one, a defensive battle. Yeah,
Michigan and Notre Dame both coming in with 2-1 records. Michigan's 2 wins. They've allowed just 1 try, 5 points in both of those games, so a key for them will certainly be keeping the Irish out of the try zone.
Yeah, and it's important to keep a note, and we were talking before the show about this, both have one similar opponent, Bowling Green. Notre Dame picked up a win, Michigan picked up a loss. So is that indicative of this game? Perhaps we're going to see rugby. It's a sport where it's always changing. A different lineup today for Notre Dame than we saw in the home opener, a couple new guys starting. So it should be interesting to see how they do.
Yeah, for Notre Dame's starting roster, Christian Bardsley, number 1, Matt Williams, number 2, and it goes down the list from there. A couple unique changes. Andrew Frankie, slides in at number 4. We've seen him play some 5, some 4. Irish in green jerseys today, as that one is bobbled but eventually corralled by Colin Artis.
Yeah, and you mentioned Andrew LaFranchi. He's playing out of position. However, he was a stud in high school. He's a freshman right now, and he won the national championship at Gonzaga Prep. So he is the real deal, and although he's out of position, he's been making great tackles defensively and has been a huge addition for the Irish.
Yeah, not often do you see a coach trust a true freshman to change positions 3 or 4 games into a season as that ball goes into touch. Michigan player picked it up as it was bouncing towards the touchline, trying to keep it in, but to no avail.
Yeah, it's a lively start here for the Irish. You can hear them all the way from the press box getting loud on the bench, and both teams are ready. I mean, both teams looked pumped up before the game, so it's going to be a high-energy, intense battle. Hopefully lots of points. That'll be fun to watch.
Certainly would be if you're a Notre Dame fan. Michigan does best when they keep points off the board, but Irish threatening right now until they give it away. So Michigan gets their first defensive turnover as James Wilcox is tackled. Michigan can tend to just kick it towards midfield.
Yeah, just trying to get better field position is Michigan here, and gosh, rugby reminds me so much of just watching these war movies in history class back in high school. It's just a bunch of guys just hitting each other, going at each other, and it's just such a grueling, brutal sport.
Yeah, it really is a battle. It's amazing how healthy these players stay for the most part, as there's some strong running in the middle of the field by the Irish. They get it across halfway.
Yeah, that could be big. Just some rolling mauls right down the field, get better field position as we have a bit of a grubber right here. Ball is bouncing.
Goes into touch. Not sure who that went off of last. Looks like it's going to stay Notre Dame's way. Throw-in coming up and doing the honors is Matt Williams, the junior. Does most of these for Notre Dame, number 2 in green.
Yeah, Matt Williams been a consistent member. He's a junior, been on the team for a couple years now, but he's had a great year thus far.
Michigan wearing navy blue with yellow M on their left shoulders and yellow numbers in the back. Notre Dame with those green top to bottom jerseys on, as there's a run by Tom Bowman.
Wow, what a play by Bowman.
Continuing to stay on his feet, as you mentioned. Great work to shrug off the first and even second hit.
Just brute force right there.
Same story for Luke Ingle out of Dublin. Michigan managing to stay with this Notre Dame attack, looking to move the ball quick early on. There's a broken tackle for Artis, but he drops the ball, and the Wolverines will take over.
Unlucky break there for the Notre Dame Fighting Irish. However, they were looking to win this ball back relatively quickly, and this ball has been really in the offensive side of the pitch so far for Notre Dame, so it's a good start to the game for them.
Yeah, it started with the field position advantage by kicking it away, and as you mentioned, ball has barely even crossed that midway point yet, but strong Michigan defense for now. We'll see how well that holds up. If you're Notre Dame, you have to be hoping to get out to a fast start. They are 2-1, but in their loss to Marion, they didn't come out strong. In their 2 wins, they were both from come-from-behind fashion.
Yeah.
So if you're the Irish, is that reliable long-term? Is that sustainable? Chris, it's got to be better to get out to that lead.
And the question to that, or the answer to that question is no, it's not sustainable. So Coach Hickey has definitely talked to the boys about that, and that's something they're working on here as there's a scrum out on the pitch.
Yeah, at about the 22-meter line. And Michigan wins it, and they will be content to kick it away, try to improve their field position. It will stay in bounds over on the far side, or it will not, actually, is going into touch to catch that ball, I believe, is Owen Portelli on the far side.
Ray Spates, actually, my neighbor, Ray Spates, getting into the game early on. Love to see that. Ray's freshman out of Arizona. He's a big-time player, big-time recruit, as Coach Hickey had talked to us about a couple of weeks ago, and he's looking to make an impact in his first start here with Notre Dame.
One of 3 freshmen in the starting 15 for Notre Dame, alongside aforementioned Andrew LaFranchi and Luke Ingle. So the only freshman from the United States is Ray Spates out of Arizona.
Physical rugby here from Michigan, and that's what they're going to have to do. I mean, they're a little smaller, which is the contrary to what we saw in the last home game, but Michigan is a smaller team, so they're going to have to play physical and bigger than they are.
Yeah, Western Michigan in that season opener, the only home game other than tonight. To your point, Chris, a much bigger, much more size intimidation factor on that team. Michigan, a lot of players in the starting roster are under 6 feet tall, and of course many of them still stocky and very tough to take down, but we'll have to see what they can do with their size disadvantage. Right now they're starting to turn the tides on this game early on, kicking it into touch inside the 22, so we'll get a look at Michigan's quote-unquote red zone offense.
Yeah, well, it'll be exciting to see because, as you mentioned, they've had some low-scoring affairs, and they haven't produced much offense. Again, the defense has been great, but can Michigan get into that try zone, and can they start to put points on the board? That's the question for this Wolverines team.
Michigan does have a 14-5 win. They opened their season with that score over Cincinnati, and in their last game, an exhibition match against Hillsdale.
Hey, speaking of it,
they won 10-5, and they are on the board early, I believe. There's the official call, and yes, the Wolverines strike first on the near side.
Wow, that was electric. Great offload there. Fast-paced rugby, and we were just talking about that. How can Michigan produce offense? Well, they got Notre Dame on the other side of the pitch. They just switched it, and all of a sudden it was a 2-on-1, and Notre Dame, they can't stop that. That was just phenomenal rugby right there by this Michigan offense.
I believe it was Mark Farbazevich, the freshman, who grounded it in the try zone for the Wolverines. So once again, Notre Dame cedes the first points of the match. That's 4 straight matches where that's been the case, and Michigan off and running with a 5-0 lead.
Yeah, that was a beautiful, beautiful sequence of rugby right there, and their first offensive drive of the game, so to say, ends in a try, so you can't complain for the Wolverines. Meanwhile, Notre Dame talking about it, see what they can do, and this game is young, and if there's one thing we can say about Notre Dame is, I mean, they're no stranger to a comeback, right? So they've been down before, and the game, you know, they keep playing. They have a short memory, which is what you need.
Certainly the case is their home opener against the WMU Broncos trailed 5-0, rattled off 32 consecutive unanswered points. In their last game against Bowling Green State, trailed 15-0 before rattling off 33 consecutive points. Conversion attempt, is no good.
Yeah, so 5-0. And this game right here, it's very similar to what we saw in the home opener. 5-0 to start the game.
It'll be the Irish kicking it away for the second time, trailing again 5-0.
I'll tell you what, Charlie, I want to see Patrick McKenzie, the 8-man. We talked about him so much in the home opener. That guy was everywhere as captain of this team. It'll be huge for McKenzie to get involved and to start really taking charge here.
That'll be number 8 in green, typically patrols the middle of the field. A ball hawk is McKenzie. So that one's kicked way out of bounds.
It's all the way onto the road. Hopefully no one ran over it.
I believe it bounced off the roof of the benches and then onto the road.
Okay, good
with
to
a
hear.
car driving past. Of course, the oblong shape of the rugby ball, you never know how it's going to bounce. One of the reasons why picking the ball up off the ground is so difficult for these athletes.
Yeah, and there's a couple of different kicks that rugby players can use. You got the grubber, got the Gary Owen, so many different techniques. And Notre Dame just needs to diversify that to really challenge this Michigan defense in terms of controlling it so they can win the ball back deep into their offensive area.
Speaking of win the ball back, a strong tackle by the Wolverines over on the far sideline as the Notre Dame ball carrier took it out of bounds. So a turnover. Michigan's defense living up to the hype that we thought they may bring to this point of the game early on.
Yeah, 100%. I've been impressed by Michigan so far. They've held their own. Of course, they have a lead, but I mean, Notre Dame hasn't had a serious threat yet, and they're a pretty lethal offense. So Michigan's been doing great.
Yeah, 30-plus points in 2 of 3 games so far for Notre Dame. But here they may be able to take advantage of a turnover. Give it to John Barnes, number 7, bulldozing his way.
John Barnes, just a menace, absolute menace.
Someone I'm thankful I will never have to tackle in my extensive playing careers. They try a kick play, and it's beautifully executed. Wow! Oh, it's called back. Offsides.
Oh, no.
And an incredulous Owen Portelli cannot believe it as he throws his hands up in disappointment. What a play, and it was called offside.
Just a moment of trickery. This Houdini act out there, and Colin Artis, as you mentioned, was there for the try, but call it back. Oh, man, that would have been on SportsCenter Top 10. That's a brutal, heartbreaking right here for Notre Dame, because, but I'll tell you what, Charlie, the momentum you gain from that. They got through, and they know they can, so Notre Dame just needs to get the ball back and keep on doing what they're doing.
Certainly does make a team feel vulnerable when something like that happens, whether or not it turns into points or not, as in that case it was ruled to be offside, and that's a big call by our head referee in the light purple shirt, and tough to tell from our angle. Certainly a lot in the crowd disagreeing with that call, but it was made almost instantly, no hesitation from the ref, so you got to give him some credit there. Obviously he's got the best view of the play.
Yeah, unfortunately so.
Doing the throw-in for Michigan will be James Wilcox. Tied for the most experienced starter on this Michigan team. Wow. They have no seniors in the starting lineup. So Wilcox, one of the juniors in the starting lineup, one of the 6 actually. So a strong junior class for this Wolverines team, but among their starters, no seniors, and the only reserve that is a senior is number 21, Brendan Willis. See if he gets into action at all, and if not, it's going to be this junior-led team for Michigan that's going to try to come in here on the road and pick up the win.
Yeah, and interesting to keep in note as well, Michigan beat Notre Dame last year, so this is a team that's seen the Irish before, but as you mentioned, a lot of these players weren't on the pitch. They were out on the sideline watching and learning, so we're going to see if they can apply it today. And you talked about Jamie Wilcox, Cape Town guy, so he's a Springbok guy over in South Africa. He's got, some great rugby talent, and that is the pinnacle, maybe alongside New Zealand, for rugby countries.
Yeah, certainly a big part of this Michigan team. As you mentioned, the only international starter for Michigan. Of course, we mentioned 2 of Notre Dame's international guys with Luke Ingle and Andrew LaFranc. Luke Ingle out of Dublin and John Barnes out of the UAE. That one is rolling back, and Notre Dame will ground it in their own try zone.
Yeah, Michigan is spreading out the pitch, though, very effectively. Good attacks here, very high pace. But Notre Dame's defense holding their own there, of course, and playing almost, man coverage in a sense right there. Nowhere to go for Michigan, so now it's a good play there for the Irish.
So it looks like a scrum coming at the 5-meter line. A little bit closer to us than the middle of the field, but it's between the 15-meter lines. You see the teams line up. It will be fed through by the Wolverines. Battle for it. Michigan comes away with it. They try to run up the middle near the goalpost.
Great tackle there.
In a meter.
Great tackle.
They're in, but the ball's not grounded yet. They still battle for it at the try line. The referee dying for a good view. Still no signal.
Might need to do a push-up in order to see. Oh, there we go.
And
Notre Dame
it's taken away by the Irish. What a defensive stand.
Wow.
Notre Dame, a huge defensive play early on.
That was phenomenal from the Irish. Oh, my.
There's a big hit.
Bringing the heat, Andrew Packard.
And Packard the hit. That was Shea Lockney, number 10 in blue, threw it out of bounds. Off a off Packard's arm, I believe, so it should stay with blue. Refs will confer. Shea Loughnane was a big player for this Michigan team last year that came in here at Stinson Rugby Field and came away with the victory.
Yeah, what a goal line stand right there, or try line stand, should I say, for Notre Dame. Just so good right there.
Yeah, big moment in this game. Already down 5. If you're Notre Dame, you know you have that comeback ability, but you don't want to put it to the test too many times early on in this season.
Yeah, just very disciplined defense, and that's a sign of a well-coached team. So shout out to Coach Justin Hickey, who was talking about his defense before the game and just hoping to see big things out of them, and that's exactly what he saw right there.
It'll be a Michigan scrum as the refs do agree that the ball went out off of a green arm. Here's Loughnane faking the pitch, nearly breaking through. That's a good tackle, preventing a potential try. There's only one man back for Notre Dame.
Yeah, it's a great, oh my.
And there's a great tackle again. Jackson Graham did most of the heavy lifting on that one.
Yeah, and then John Barnes came in just for fun.
Yeah, 6 and 7, both in the middle of the field on that hit after Graham kind of laid the initial contact. Barnes helped out as that ball bounces.
Yeah, good tip there
Bouncing
from
around.
Ray Spates. Make sure Michigan doesn't get it.
Ball goes into touch.
And it looks like we have an injury, Charlie, or is he getting up? We're going to see. Yeah,
Trying.
We have an injury. It's Patrick Jennings for Notre Dame, and he is down holding his ankle.
Yeah, Jennings is going to try. You could see him trying to shake it off. Almost seems like he's angry as opposed to in pain.
Yeah,
probably both.
I think both. And I mean, we mentioned this on the last broadcast. When you're talking rugby, these guys just don't go down. I mean, they'll play through anything. So it's never a good sign to see any player down, and Patrick Jennings kind of hobble off with some assistance. It's Will Linke to come in.
Yeah, Jennings gets some help to the sideline. You obviously hope he's okay. Sophomore out of Cincinnati, Ohio, in his second year with the rugby program.
Yeah, now Will Linke to come in, and the freshman, the Australian freshman, however, lived and resided in England for many years during his childhood. He's very fast, got a lot of speed. Maybe he goes into a different position. We're going to see. He does like to play a wing or a fullback position, so I mean, it does suit him, but he'll be in the back line here for the Irish.
Yeah, when we saw him against Western Michigan, what was most noticeable about him was that blazing speed that he has. So if you're Notre Dame, you look to get him the ball in space. But right now it's the Wolverines with the ball, but it's dropped in and out of the hands of Luke Zanna, and that's going to be a knock-on and a big break for the Irish as Michigan looked like they were threatening on the near side of the field, right about the area where they scored that first try.
Yeah, an old saying goes, rather be lucky than good, and right there Notre Dame was rather lucky. Luck of the Irish, some may say. Just sloppy play there from Michigan.
So after the knock-on, Notre Dame will go for the scrum in the middle of the field as all the players are either involved in that scrum or beyond their own try line, trying to get offensive momentum, forward momentum. One of those players is Will Linke. See if they get him the ball, fresh legs into this game, which has 22 minutes, 25 seconds left in half number one. Michigan with a 5-0 lead. And there's Patrick McKenzie, just as you were hoping to see, breaking a couple tackles and offloading it to Graham.
Yeah, this is exactly what I want to see. These guys just have so much power, and looks like that offsides wasn't called there.
That high kick is going to be gathered in on the basically jump ball. Packard came down with it.
Oh, this game is getting physical right there. Andrew Packard just, or excuse me, it was actually Colin Artis just pushing off. Looked like Loughnane.
Yeah, penalty was called on Michigan, so it'll be a kick. Trying to get into touch and doing so successfully from Artis. Just inside the 22.
Well, that play, as you said, Charlie, all starts with the captain, Patrick McKenzie. Great physical rugby from him, and it's just so hard to take him down. You got to get 4 guys on him before you can take him down, and then Jackson Graham finished it off right there.
So another line out coming. Williams will throw it in. Wow, defended well. Michigan does good to retake possession,
Oh,
but
wow.
Notre Dame gets it back. Graham just won a battle.
Jackson
Jackson
Graham.
Graham, excuse me.
Noticeable players so far. Here's
Yeah.
McKenzie inside the 5. They try to rumble it forward. They're now within a meter. They'll go lose some ground to try to gain some as it's bobbled by Race Bates. He's taken down. Notre Dame seemingly was close, but chose to offload it back, trying to make it happen, but
Jackson Graham
Michigan
again
was
on the ball.
there.
He's everywhere.
yeah, he is everywhere, and he's got the ball again. Lays it on the ground. Couple quick passes, and penalty called against Michigan, so it's picked up
quick
by
start.
McKenzie.
Quick start.
And McKenzie loses it, and Michigan recovers it. A knock on against McKenzie, and a
man.
big goal line stand, try line stand for the Wolverines. You're seeing that defense that they are known to have.
Yeah, it's smart rugby from Patrick McKenzie. You really can't fault him. He's here, then he's there. He's cutting left and going right. However, just at the end, looks like a knock on just carries it forward. We're going to see what the play is here.
We will go back to an earlier Michigan penalty. The Irish will take
So
it.
actually, Michigan had taken a penalty. Notre Dame was playing with advantage, so McKenzie saw the basically like a free play, and tried to bowl forward with it. So Michigan with one goal line stand. Now they need another. A couple quick passes from Williams to Graham.
Oh,
And Graham just broke 4 tackles for 5 points.
Irish try.
The game is tied.
The hard man to bring down right there.
Wow. He is scary. Jackson Graham marches his way in. Huge try there, and Notre Dame, it's been all Fighting Irish for them since they let up the initial try.
Yeah, that's a big play by number 6 in green. Just refusing to go down, keeping those feet churning, and finds a way to get in and ground it for the game-tying try.
Yeah, just great play there from Notre Dame, just showing real toughness right to put it in. I mean, they had so many different chances, didn't let it up. They kept the ball. They didn't have any sloppy mistakes that we actually saw in the first week, and you can tell now they're in mid-season form. So great play there from the Irish.
And to take the lead, the conversion is true. So Notre Dame adds an extra 2 and takes a 7-5 lead as we're more than halfway through half number 1, and they'll get the ball back. The first time Michigan will kick it off. So that was Artis who knocked it through for the 2 points.
Yeah, and I think one thing with this game is the teams are going to have to work for these points. We just saw it there, and we saw it even with Michigan on their try. The teams are going to have to work. These defenses are so elite. We've mentioned it all broadcast. So it's not going to be the explosion that I may have hoped for. However, it's still a great physical rugby game here, and there's been some good moments of trickery. One called back.
And here's Tom Bowman. He'll take it towards the middle of the field. Both teams with a try, both teams with a goal line stand. Bowman running through the labyrinth, almost made it all the way through.
Twinkle toes, Tom Bowman.
Good jukes from a big man, but that one is kicked away. Notre Dame opts for the field position route. Here's Gretter for Michigan, who's going to boot it high, trying to give the field position back, and does successfully. Linke will continue this game of get the ball out of my backyard.
Yeah, it's like a game of hot potato.
And they continue. Back and forth they go. Will we see another kick? This one's not as far.
Oh.
But a big hit on Gordon after he let go of the ball.
Whoa.
Now another collision. Graham tripping over a Michigan player gets shoved away. That's Loughnane. And now a shoving match between Zach Small, number 1 in Navy, and a couple Notre Dame players. The referee has to go in to separate. These teams do not like each other, Chris, in any sport.
No, they really don't, and we know they have a long history, and they're playing for something a little bit more today. And wow, this game is getting heated real quick.
Yeah, it's the annual battle for the DeHaven and Harless Memorial Trophy, named after George DeHaven Jr. and William Harless of both the University of Michigan and the University of Notre Dame.
Yeah.
Way back in the 19th century. It's a long-standing tradition. Michigan way more successful throughout the last 101 years, winning 70 times. Notre Dame, however, since 2016, last year, their only loss.
Yes, it's just Justin Hickey era, so maybe for another 100 years, Notre Dame, as long as Justin Hickey's alive, can keep winning these games. But the whole point, too, is these two brothers, they actually started the Notre Dame versus Michigan football rivalry, apparently. That's what how the story goes, and they got Notre Dame and Michigan to play in football, and as they say, the rest is history.
And Coach Justin Hickey, since he took over in 2016, as Chris was mentioning, Notre Dame had won many in a row, only losing last year, but Michigan way more successful throughout the century plus that this game has been played.
Yeah,
as the Irish will look to add some points to the board. Methodical, pushing forward, but strong tackle by a couple Michigan players, one of them being Luke Zanna, the captain for the Wolverines. Almost like a tush-push-ish play there.
Yeah.
Ball carrier getting some help from behind. They'll try it again. Notre Dame happy to go a meter at a time.
Yeah, it's a good maul there. I would like to see this ball get in the hands of McKenzie.
It was for a bit.
Or Barnes.
Now it's Barnes
Yeah.
leaving it behind him. You can see Notre Dame going to their big guys in this area of the field. They are as close as you can get right now. Referee's got a good view and a try. The Irish score again, their second try in just a few minutes.
And Notre Dame is just finding their groove. It's been all Irish for the past 20 minutes or so. And they got the points to prove for it now, Charlie.
That'll make it 12-5 Notre Dame. Andrew LaFranchi on the score. His first of the game.
Yeah, we mentioned LaFranchi. He was with the US U18s. Real top prospect. One of the top prospects in the country. Huge, huge get by Coach Justin Hickey.
A big recruit out of Washington, D.C. I mentioned earlier there's only mentioned that LaFranchi, we just had Coach Justin Hickey enter the press box to drop a fun fact for us. We'll try to get that to you in a sec. But Andrew LaFranchi, I mentioned earlier that there's only one freshman on this team from the U.S. That is incorrect. Andrew LaFranchi is from the U.S., which is Washington, D.C.
Oh, doesn't count. It's not a state.
That's what I'm saying.
It's a bit of a loophole right there.
You could argue.
I'll let it slide.
Only one freshman in the starting lineup from the 50 states. How about that?
Yeah, there we go. Never understood that, but it is what it is.
After that great try by Andrew LaFranchi, the score is 12-5.
So after the missed opportunity for the Irish to take a 2-score lead. Lead remains 7 points as we get towards the final third. And we're into the final third of the first half. Michigan kicking it away. They'll go deep down the middle. Picked up by Bates. See if he can race forward.
I like that one, Charlie.
Came up with that one on the fly. Probably will get tired of me saying that eventually.
Yeah, he's got some speed, Race Bates. That's what he's known for, just explosiveness. Big guy.
Knock on called against the Irish. So Michigan takes over possession. Wilcox trying to get his bench more involved.
Well, yeah, this is the first time Michigan's had the ball in their attacking half in a while. It really has been a while of Michigan maintaining possession. However, when they do, we've seen it. They could switch the ball very quickly, and just some great passes they have. And they're lethal once they do that, but they're going to need to get into some groove because they've been out of it for about 20 minutes now.
Yeah, we'll get to see that offense if they can win this scrum. They haven't been too successful in their own scrums so far. This one's a long one, but eventually the Wolverines do come away with it. They scored
sloppy.
a couple bobbles in a row, and Notre Dame takes over. Bates falls on it, and it's kicked away. You can see Linke trying to race back for that, battling with Klockmeyer.
Linke's gonna get it.
They continue to battle. Artis tries to kick it forward.
Oh.
And what's the call?
Oh, so close, so close.
I don't think they're giving him the try. The referee instantly looked at the line judge to ask whether Artis grounded it or whether it just went off his hand, and now they'll have a conversation about it. A true conversation. We'll see what the call is here.
I would like to think so, but I don't think he had it. But what a play from Notre Dame, and Will Linky's blistering pace on full display right there. Great team effort. And Race Bates, of course, winning the ball back. But we talked about Michigan needing to maintain possession. They haven't been able to do that now. They're looking a little sloppy, and Notre Dame has been capitalizing.
Yeah, we saw Michigan get the first try of the game and then had that chance at the try line that Notre Dame stopped. And since then, as you mentioned, it's been all Fighting Irish. And we'll see what they eventually call. Give credit to Plockmeyer for Michigan there, number 23 in blue, for doing the best he could as the lone man back. Didn't even start the game, number 23, but entered and made a big play there.
Yeah, 100%.
It'll be a tap and go for the Irish, and they score the try anyway. No drama there. Christian Bardsley is on the board, and the Irish lead by 12.
And Notre Dame's really extending this lead. And large crowd applause for Mrs. Bardsley, who's in attendance today. Not watching the stream. Finally here to watch her son, and from Pennsylvania, he's got to try to show for it.
Yep. Very sizable crowd in attendance tonight. Some of both fans, certainly a lot more Notre Dame fans than usual, and not too much of a surprise considering the home game tomorrow, the home football game against Miami of Ohio, obviously bringing more people in. And what better to do on a Friday night than head out to Stinson Rugby Field. They have a soccer game as well tonight at Notre Dame, but
yeah,
a lot of fans choosing this event instead, and why not? Such amazing action in rugby, and already 21 more points than you'll see in the average soccer game.
You know, as a soccer fan, I'm not going to comment, but
23 more now.
There's no doubt this time with a successful conversion.
Imaginary points, that is, Charlie.
Well, they play the same length of games, 2 40-minute halves. We've already seen 3 tries by Notre Dame and 1 by Michigan. So even if you used real points, even if each try counted as 1, it would still be 3-1 Notre Dame, which is way more high scoring than your average soccer game.
Yeah, fair enough.
So if you're interested in the offense, then if you're a fan, then you've come to the right place. Notre Dame soccer also not particularly known for their goal scoring. Very good defensive team they are, and that's how they made it to the national championship game last year and won the ACC.
Yeah, they've been doing good this year. Just lost to Stanford, King Country 1-0 as the rugby team trying to climb up the rankings themselves.
Yeah, no official rugby rankings, but there are some unofficial ones, and there's going to be a knock-on against the Irish, or maybe not. Yes, Michigan playing with advantage, so even though the ball carrier Farbazevich, the try scorer, was knocked into touch, it'll be, I think, a knock-on. The side referee seemingly indicated that the ball was kicked forward, which would make it not a knock-on, but I think the field referee is going to disagree with him and overrule that call. So it should be Michigan's ball.
Exactly what's happening here. And you mentioned no official rankings. However, 19th on the Golf Rugby Report is Notre Dame, and 36th on Rugby Hawk. So 2 very popular websites, kind of niche college rugby websites, but very informative if you're looking to get more into college rugby and look at the rankings.
Yeah, you kind of got to dig in this sport, especially at the college level, but thankfully Chris has done a great job of that. And we get a penalty on the scrum. Collapse is called, so Notre Dame takes over, and you can see how fired up Bardsley is about that.
Yeah, I'll tell you what, this Michigan team is very talented, very good. We've seen it, but it's just these sloppy mental errors that have been messing with them thus far, and Notre Dame's taken full advantage of it, and they look to continue to do so here.
Yeah, you think back to Notre Dame's first try of the game, McKenzie losing the ball in the try zone would have been Michigan ball on the knock-on, but they had been called for a penalty just a few seconds before. That was a big play in this game, and it feels like Notre Dame has kind of taken this game over ever since then. 19 straight points, and now they have the ball once again on the Wolverine side of the field. So if you're Michigan, if you cut down on these mistakes, you can certainly see yourself finding more success. They are 2-1, but suffered a big loss to Bowling Green, who Notre Dame beat.
Yeah, definitely. And the longer this game goes on, the worse it gets for Michigan. Because if there's one thing about this Notre Dame team, it's 1 deep, and 2, they got great stand. Oh my!
McKenzie just
Sits a man down.
bulldozed his attempted tackler, Wilcox. High kick in and out of the hands of Fabrzevic. And now it's corralled by Loughnane to save the day, and he will choose to go backwards with it.
Out of the back of the try zone.
Seeing no other play, we'll kick it through the back. 6 minutes to go in the first half, and Notre Dame's pressure starting to really get to this Wolverines defense.
Patrick McKenzie is a scary human being. Oh, wow. What a play. Just totally knocked a player over on this Michigan side. And again, we talked about him being the heartbeat of this team, the 8-man, really connecting the offense and defense. And he's been doing exactly that. He's been having a great display yet again, and he's been the most consistent player for this Notre Dame season from start to finish so far.
Right around midfield, an injured Wolverine getting some attention at the sideline. Derek Bukowski, freshman out of Ann Arbor, is going to meet with the trainer very quickly and will run back into position. That's why the game is being held up a little bit, but it will be a scrum upcoming.
Good for him, Ann Arbor. Local kid playing for Michigan.
Yep. Not many, you'd be surprised, not that many Michigan players on this team as opposed to some of the other teams that Notre Dame plays that are full of local talent. Michigan's still the most represented state in the starting lineup with 5 starters out of Michigan, but lots others. Massachusetts pretty well represented, a couple Colorados, a couple Virginias. So
interesting.
Michigan obviously a nationally known and acclaimed university, so can expand their recruiting pool beyond just in-state.
Yeah, and that's something Notre Dame's done very well. We talk about them recruiting some big-time guys. They've been going all over. I mean, we look at Race from Arizona, guys all the way from Ireland, England, you name it, they're from there. So they've been doing a great job at recruiting, and the results are showing for it so far, Charlie.
Yeah, been a strong start to the year for them. Marion, obviously, perennially a tough team, and Notre Dame played them closer than they did 2 years ago and even last year. And although they came away with the defeat, they've won their other 2 games, 33-15 over Bowling Green State, 32-5 over Western Michigan, and leading by 12 in this one as we approach the final few minutes of the first half.
And although it's not a big name, Marion is one of the better college teams in the country. And it's interesting with college rugby, Life University, Kutztown University, so many schools that are Division III, Division II at every other sport are top elite rugby schools. Oh, wow. What a touch.
There's a fancy little attempt from Packard trying to settle it down with his foot so as to not accidentally knock it on. Now a penalty called against the Irish, and they will have to retreat.
Andrew Packard trying to go for like a soccer first touch there. Nifty little play, but doesn't prevail.
And good work by Michigan's pressure to force him into that decision and eventually take the ball over. They'll kick it into touch to gain a little bit more ground. We're under 3 minutes to play in half number 1. The Irish with a 19-5 lead over the Michigan Wolverines. The Notre Dame JV team, as you mentioned in the open, dominant winners in their matchup. 34-0 lead at halftime, 64-0 final. A little bit of a different story in this one. Michigan playing with more energy, playing a tighter game, even got the first try of the game, but Notre Dame does have 19 straight points to have this 12-point lead. See if Michigan can answer before the half is over.
Yeah, the JV team took inspiration from the football team, just dominating Purdue last week. Oh, wow. Penalty call.
Yeah, penalty indeed. You could hear some of the fans and some of the players kind of like begging for that penalty to be called, and the referee eventually did agree. So a mistake for the Wolverines again. And now it's Notre Dame looking to add to their lead before the break.
Yeah, under 2 to go here. And
that's a great kick.
Oh, phenomenal kick.
One of the better kicks into touch we've seen. Artis doing the honors as per usual. Williams to throw it in on the line out. 100 seconds to go in the first half.
And coming in is Jackson Graham, who I've been loving to watch this game. He's been everywheres and helping right there with the scrum, but he's been a huge, huge player so far for the Fighting Irish.
Line out not straight. I believe was the call.
Tell you what, Charlie, off topic, I'm loving these green jerseys, these new jerseys
Oh,
for this Notre Dame
absolutely.
rugby team, yeah.
Absolutely. Certainly was not expecting to see them in the opening game tonight. Notre Dame was in blue and white striped jerseys. But
Yeah.
with Michigan's varsity team choosing to go with the navy blue, Notre Dame had to pick a different color and went with these really, really snazzy green ones.
Yeah, and they also got some new white and blue and gold ones, as we can see up here in the box. So looking sharp for the rest of the season.
Yeah, 3 jerseys set for Notre Dame and taking advantage of these green ones. They're also helpful to us up here with huge white letters on the back.
Yeah, you always love that.
Very easy to identify. Some teams, I think, to Indiana immediately that try to make it as difficult as possible to read their numbers. And Notre Dame continues
That
to
is-
cause Michigan problems on the scrum. That was nearly a high tackle, but nothing called just yet. Williams, a juke. He's eventually brought down.
Matt Williams snatches a man's ankle.
The scrum, that happens maybe 1% of the time, the opposing team winning the ball in a scrum. So we just witnessed history right there. Wow.
Now, we've seen Notre Dame cause a lot of problems on these Michigan scrums early. Even the ones that Michigan has been winning, they've been taking a lot longer than you're usually expecting to see for that ball to be fed through. And Notre Dame was playing with advantage, so now they'll take over at about the 22. Time has expired, so next dead ball will end the half. That does not count as a dead ball. Line out about 7 or 8 meters from the try line, coming for the Irish, looking to add on to this lead. See if Michigan can come up with a big defensive stand. Their specialty is their defense.
This might just be the biggest possession of the game right now for Notre Dame, because end of the half, if you extend the lead here, it is so hard for Michigan to come back. Right now, you give them enough room where they get a try, and they can feel it. But to make it a 3-possession lead would be a huge, huge gain for Notre Dame coming into the first second half.
And nearly doing so, it's still up in the air, and Michigan takes over. That's a great defensive play by the Wolverines, as Tom Bowman almost found his way through, but could not successfully ground the ball. Looked like he got across the try line, but couldn't get it down to the ground. And that's going to do it for the first half, Chris. 14-point lead. Of course, they made that third conversion attempt. 14-point lead for the Fighting Irish. After 40 minutes of play, they lead 19-5. We're going to take a quick break, and we'll be back in second half action on the Notre Dame Rugby YouTube channel.
There is. It's June buggies, and it's the greatest thing in the Mishawaka South Bend area.
just about set for the second half between the Notre Dame Fighting Irish and the Michigan Wolverines here at Stinson Rugby Field on a gloomy Saturday night. It was raining earlier as Jackson Graham is a man on the loose. Graham has two men to beat. He's still on his feet. What a start to the half. Jackson Graham, before we could even introduce the second half, is in for the try, his second of the game.
Charlie, I'm on my feet right now. Wow, we talked about Sports Center Top 10 earlier. So say hello to Sports Center. Tweet it out. Get it out there. Jackson Graham.
That was the most impressive and longest try run I have ever seen in 15-on-15 rugby. And I have not been doing this for very long, but that was that was out of nowhere. He picked up the ball on one hop and was never being tackled. Just too much speed.
Yeah, shot out of a cannon just to start. And we talk about Notre Dame needing a try to really extend the lead and start to feel comfortable in this game and just see it out. That's exactly what they needed. And who would have thought 20 seconds in? Not even.
Almost looked like the Bullet Bill in Mario Kart. Just unstoppable. One of those, when you get that item, you're like, oh my goodness, there we go. And when you're one of the other players who didn't get that item, you're like scared. And I think Michigan can't admit it. You can't say it, but you certainly can feel it in your gut. And when Bullet Jackson is coming down the middle of the field and then towards the right edge, I mean, that was...
You move out of the way. That's what you do.
That was an exceptional run, and he broke a couple tackles at the beginning of the run. He just slipped through everybody untouched, and then at the end had to break a hit or two and did so easy. There's a good tackle. Notre Dame ready to play in half number 2.
Bates just tossing a guy to Sunday. Oh my goodness. Just got up.
Loose. I don't know what they fed Notre Dame at the halftime break.
I was about to say that. I think they took a shot of Michael's secret stuff at halftime, if you ever watched Space Jam, and going up for it like Michael Jordan's Bates there. And we're going to see what the call is.
Knock-on called against Michigan.
Knock-on.
I believe it's against Michigan. Notre Dame had been playing with advantage, so they'll take it back. Second half action just underway. Charlie Morris alongside Chris Daly in the broadcast booth. Notre Dame now a 19-point lead, 24 unanswered points after falling behind 5-0 for the 4th game in a row. But when you have this comeback ability, again, you don't like to see it tested. We mentioned it a couple times, but when it's this good and when you can bring fans and my partner to your feet like Jackson Graham just did, doesn't matter what the game starts at as long as Notre Dame ends it the right way. As McKenzie finding holes in this Michigan defense. Barnes spins off a hit, still on his feet. John Barnes refuses to go down, finally tackled by the ankles.
This is what I want to see in the second half. Use the power that Notre Dame has. They're outpowering this Michigan team. But then, if you can, quickly open it up. Just the element of surprise is going to be so big. Like that, what a kick.
Kick to Linky, who drops it, and it goes into touch. Had footsteps bearing down on him. Did Will Linky, number 22 in green.
Unfortunate knock-on.
So the knock-on is called.
Well within their 22.
Scrum upcoming for the Wolverines. We're not even 4 minutes into the second half, and it's already been full of action. And fans continue to trickle in. You got the other members of this press box saying 4,000 to 5,000. We're going to go with 600 to 700, but nonetheless, still a great crowd at a place that doesn't always get great crowds. And when it was, as I mentioned, it's a gloomy day. It was pouring rain about an hour and a half ago, and rain on and off throughout the day. And when it was coming down,
look at this, Charlie. Oh,
it was coming down hard, and finally Michigan wins the scrum. That would have been a bad time for them to have lost another, but got to think the field is wet. The JV game before us, they were playing through the rain at points and then on a wet field for most of that game, so certainly no time for that field to dry.
Yeah, and John Barnes right there almost wins it off of a ruck, which you rarely see. Good play, and Notre Dame, maybe they took a shot of espresso, Charlie. I'm still trying to figure it out. I just don't know what happened, what got into these guys, but they are on a different level right now.
Yeah, you can feel the energy in their game right now, seeing if they can continue to build on that lead. They'll get a throw in from Matt Williams at just about midfield. And now actually they'll move it towards the offensive side for the Irish. So we'll see how that wet field comes into play rest of the way. Whether or not that impacts the game. Of course, every time the ball is on the ground, it will get a little wetter. And hands will get wetter. So we get a maul coming.
Yeah, rolling ball. This is delightful.
Linky now will try to kick it ahead to himself, but it's gathered in and offloaded. Well done by Noah Alvarez on the defensive side for Michigan. Linky trying to use his speed on the wing. There's a great play by Farbizevich.
Yeah, but this Notre Dame defense is just everywhere. Even when they have an ounce of momentum, it just appears that there's 3 green shirts. Hello, how are you? See ya. And they just, bam, hit them.
Yeah, we've been talking about Michigan's defense all night, but Notre Dame's no slouch either. There's a high kick, and it's gathered in. That's a great play by Michigan. And it's Plockmeyer who gives it to Gretter.
Say that 10 times fast.
No, thank you. Gretter again, still on his feet. Just barely gathered in, and actually it's turned over. It was a wrestle between a player on both sides, and Notre Dame is going to come away with it.
You know who that was? This is their favorite, Patrick McKenzie. Winning the ball back. Who else?
Doing it on the defensive end, just winning the ball away from Michigan's Massimo Lorenzetti.
Looks
Another
like
one of these freshmen, very young Michigan team.
Call is going to be against Notre Dame. Can't decipher what it is, but Notre Dame players aren't happy, so it looks like they can't either.
Yeah, whatever it is, Michigan with a prime opportunity to get back in this game.
Yeah,
down 3 scores.
They need it. At this point in the game, we're almost 10 minutes now into the second half, and it is really getting far away from them. Just even, point differential down the line, stuff like that. I mean, it really does play a factor. So Michigan going to try to see if they can squeeze by, but this Notre Dame defense, if there's one thing they're good at, it's right here, just stopping them. When you think Michigan's going to cross, nope, Notre Dame. Well, they have a no-entry policy.
Michigan scored at around this time of the first half with about 32 or so minutes to go in it. That's their only try of the game up to this point. Been shut out for the last 40 minutes and had an opportunity there, but the line out landed in green arms. Matt Williams, who does the line outs for Notre Dame, was on the receiving end of that one for Notre Dame to help force the turnover. And that one is kicked into touch.
Whoa!
Goes into the stands, bounces a couple of times. Slick ball, slick bleachers.
Almost hit a grandma in the front row.
It's not quite as cool as catching a foul ball in baseball. Those rugby balls come in with about the same speed, but can bounce any which way and a little bit more difficult to get your hands on.
Yeah, a little intimidating for sure.
Another line out coming. Wilcox doing the honors for the Wolverines. Heels on the white touchline. Good line out this time. Michigan will quickly go to the middle of the field. Gretter trying to get forward. Offloaded by Janke. Spinning tackle, but Michigan will go to the far side. And there's another good tackle.
This is what Michigan's good at, is just moving the ball from right to left, left to right, and they seem to have gone away from that many times in this game. And I don't understand why they've had so much success with it, and they do it all of a sudden they gain about 25 meters there.
31 minutes to go in the second half. Irish with a 24-5 lead over the Wolverines. Be kicked into touch at about the 5-meter line. Michigan threatening this time on the far side of the field. They were threatening about 2 minutes ago closer to us, but now they'll huddle before deciding on their line-out strategy. Obviously, big moment in this game. If Michigan has any realistic chance to forge a comeback in this second half, they're going to need to get one soon.
Yeah, time is not their friend right now, Charlie.
Especially as the moving clock continues to tick, but still over half an hour, so certainly within the realm of possibility if they can just get one.
Oh, bobble.
Bobble, and Notre Dame takes over, so Michigan mistakes continue to plague them.
And Jackson Graham running through 2 guys. So what's new? Not much. Sky is still blue.
I think it was a battle with the ball, though. He did, as his body went through 2 guys, but the ball maybe lagged behind. And it did indeed. The Wolverines take over.
Tom Ballman with just a low tackle right there, just absolutely obliterating the knees of the opposition. And the ref doesn't appear to be happy with Notre Dame here.
Yeah, Notre Dame victim of some penalties early on. See, Michigan will try to kick it into touch. It's a long distance, but it's well executed. Wolverines at about the 5.
And that's something Notre Dame can work on too as the season goes on. And of course they're winning this game, but right here, right now, what can you improve on? I mean, they've done so much so well, but a lot of penalty calls, Charlie, and I think that's a big thing Coach Hickey's going to emphasize at practice this upcoming week.
Yeah, tough to maintain success and win consistently when you're losing the penalty battle.
Yeah, and as you go up against higher competition, of course, as you climb those rugby rankings, so to say, it's not going to be as friendly as it is today. You know, you have room for error a little bit, but against higher opponents, they're going to punish you.
Michigan was playing, or Notre Dame was playing with advantage, excuse me. Another one into the stands. This one takes a typical rugby ball bounce back onto the field. By typical, I mean completely zigzagged.
Quite a bit.
So line out coming.
Excuse me, I'm being told a better reference is Johnny Sexton.
Still a good crowd. Rain has settled down and is holding off right now. Good crowd in attendance to watch these 2 teams. Michigan not that far, and of course Notre Dame fans have plenty on campus with the home football game tomorrow.
Yeah, I'm very impressed. A lot of people here to watch the show. The greatest show on turf, some may say, but they keep playing like this. And, oh, Michigan.
Yeah, there's a creative run from Jack Reagan, slithering through a couple hits. But then in the hands, excuse me, of Ackerman, number 4 in blue, Michael Ackerman.
Yeah, Michigan's going to need to get creative, but they're also going to need to stay consistent.
Blockmeyer down the wing, cuts it in. Barnes grabbed him by the shirt to slow him down just enough to keep him out of the try zone. Michigan's inside the 5.
And Notre Dame's had a lot of stands right here before.
We'll see if they can pick up another one, where the Wolverines will finally break through.
This is where the physicality of Notre Dame comes into play. And we mentioned they're a bigger team, very strong. They've had some rolling balls offensively. So now, again, holding up defensively, just holding that line, not getting broken down.
Yeah, there's some very high pressure defense, but holding onto it is Lockney, diving for the try zone. Still not in. Very close.
Yeah, he dove for it, but fell just short. It looks like if he dove a meter after, he would have gotten it.
They're as close as you can get on that far side of the field to see if they can bully their way in. Tough to do against this Notre Dame defense. It's holding strong for now.
Ball's about a meter shy right now of the try line, maybe 2.
Can't be much further. A lot of bodies in one area. Now Michigan will try to the middle. They'll try to kick it all the way wide. Takes a Michigan bounce to stay in touch. Blockmeyer picks it up. They do lose some ground, but they are lucky to maintain possession.
Yeah, a sloppy play there, and Notre Dame catches a break, and again, a sloppy, oh, Notre Dame, no.
Should be a knock-on, and it is a knock-on, so very good defensive stand by Notre Dame. Long, lengthy offensive possession all the way down to within 1 meter of the try line, but the Irish stand strong.
High pressure. My heart was pumping just watching that. Wow. What a stand there for Notre Dame, just showing, again, we talk about discipline, showing discipline defensively, nobody biting, nobody, of course, getting too excited and wanting to make the big play, all just working as a team. That's what they did, and they got the stand.
So it'll be a scrum right in the center of the field if you're looking at it vertically. It'll be fed through by Notre Dame. Owen Portelli in particular. McKenzie comes away with it.
Oh, stiff arm.
Stiff arm's a hit, but good work on the tackle by Reagan, staying with big number 8 in green.
McKenzie showed him the Heisman. Oh, that's a good kick.
It is a decent kick, but it's gathered in by Michigan, who will kick it into touch. That one is supposed to stay inbounds, so Notre Dame will take advantage of that.
Yeah, Notre Dame, maybe they start making changes soon. You begin to wonder especially as they enter the back half of the second half here. But they haven't had the ball in the offensive zone in a couple minutes now, and that's unlike Notre Dame. The rest of the game, it was all Notre Dame, all attack for Notre Dame. So all of a sudden, a lot of defense here, and Notre Dame needs to win the ball back, reset, and keep playing the physical brand of rugby that they want to employ.
Yeah, maybe instead of espresso shots, maybe it was sugar shots, and that sugar crash is kind of hitting them. But give credit to Michigan for pushing the pace, obviously playing with some desperation, down 19, but Notre Dame did well to keep them off the board, and you have to wonder what Michigan has left in the tank. Do they have another push? Do they have 3 more pushes offensively to try to get back into this game? Obviously the clock and the score, Notre Dame's friends right now, especially if they can add to it as the offense tries to get going. As you mentioned, first time in a long time in this half they've had the ball on the Michigan side. Penalty called, not rolling away.
Yeah, and Notre Dame, I talked about them playing physical, but they also, of course, do want a more well-balanced physical, but also just kind of do what Michigan has done in a sense, right? Passing it out, switching the ball left to right to left, from side of the pitch to side of the pitch, and they're going to try to do a bit of everything. So maybe it's also time to experiment if you're the Irish and if you're Coach Hickey here.
AKA Bob.
Luke Engel was the one who kicked that into touch, so a line out coming. We still haven't seen Patrick Jennings for Notre Dame after he went down in the first half. No injury update on him, but if he hasn't returned yet, hard to imagine he's going to return at all tonight.
Yeah, it's an unfortunate sign. You really just hate to see anybody, either team, get hurt, and hopefully he can heal up quickly.
We'll see what happens with him, but for now, Notre Dame line out upcoming, and it's gathered in by LaFranchi, who got some help to go up for it. Now a maul for Notre Dame, and it's a good one. It's a very good one, and it's a try for Bowman. There's the ground to make it official. A maul turned into a freeway for Bowman, who's on the board, and it's 29-5 Notre Dame.
Yeah, the element of surprise, Charlie. Nobody saw that coming, but Tom Bowman, well, you said thank you very much and took his space, and a huge try there for the sophomore, and Notre Dame has all but won this game, essentially 29-5, and it is a huge lead the Irish have now taken.
And we'll see if they can knock the conversion through. Bowman tried to get it a little bit closer to the center, but took no risk. As soon as he saw a bit of pressure from a Navy sweater, grounded it immediately. And obviously 5 points way more valuable than 2.
Yeah, and it was a good rolling maul, too, from the Notre Dame offense right there, just to move that ball down the field. Lots of great plays all around, but if you remember, just about 2 minutes ago, we were talking about that tri-line stand. So it's really from, the South Pole to the North Pole, or north to south, I guess you could say, for Notre Dame right there. And great job from Notre Dame to turn what could have been letting up a try into scoring one.
Yeah, according to my compass, it was north to South Pole, so you had it on the second try.
There we go. Second time's the charm.
And the conversion is good. Artis with a great kick from distance. Notre Dame crosses the 30-point mark for the 3rd time this season.
We also have substitution.
They've won the other 2, in which they've gotten at least 30 points, and looking to make it 3 for 3. Past that benchmark if they can hold on for the next 20 minutes and change.
Yeah, and we talked about subs, Charlie. Kylie Erden coming in now for Notre Dame, Luke Engel coming out, so a quick change right there for Coach Hickey, and you can expect to see a lot more subs coming in very shortly for Notre Dame.
Yeah, both to protect the starters, but also just get fresh legs in there. It's been a long, grueling game. We've seen a bunch of mauls for Notre Dame, which obviously takes a toll as the game goes along. So as you mentioned, Erdy in, number 19 in green. Michael Midazuski also in, freshman number 18 in green. So a couple new faces.
Oh,
good balls bouncing around.
Yeah, good grubber kick right there. Just kind of a banana style kick in a sense. And Similar to what we saw earlier, just kicking it back and forth. Oh, blocked.
And it stays in. That's a big play by the Wolverines.
Deja vu for me from the NIU game. A couple blocks.
Oh, let's not bring that up.
I'm sorry. I have PTSD.
Let's focus on other successful. We don't talk about NIU anymore. We're past that. We're not past that. Michigan trying to break the shutout they have running in the second half of this game. Haven't scored since the 32-minute mark of the first half. Notre Dame's defense playing very strong, but that one is in and out of the hands. And now Portelli will just pick it up and step into touch.
Yeah, the scrum half Portelli right there who dropped it, the Canadian kid.
Wolverine line out.
But
after a
inspiring
series
play
of
from
events.
Notre Dame. Good ball movement, nevertheless. And I'd like to see that. I'd like to
Another
see them
sub.
opening up the play a
Matt
little bit and
Sirianni
opening
comes
up
off for
the
John
Michigan
Barnes.
defense.
John Barnes is going to come out of the game on a substitution. We also have a Michigan player down and injured over near the far sideline, close to the Notre Dame bench.
There's a bit of a lull here. I'd like to shout out one more time the wonderful
A couple
June
trainers
Buttons right
attend
next
to that
entrance.
player who's
They're not just
down
selling
for Michigan. The
tacos,
clock
quesadillas,
continues to
burritos.
tick, under
They're
19
selling
to play.
mouthfuls of happiness, if you will.
Referee will now look at what's
I'm
going
from
on.
Texas. I've tried the best.
It looks
June
to
Buttons is
be
right up
a
there
sort
with
of
it.
cramp, and if it's not
I
a
go to
cramp, it
sleep
does not
dreaming
look
about
good,
them.
but
I suggest
that
you
is
check it
how
out.
it's set up right now.
Tending to that right leg. And now a third trainer will enter the scene. As both the line judge and the field referee get over there.
Yeah,
One more
I
shout out since we have
think
some
it's a
time.
cramp.
The
I mean,
Indie
that's where
Rugby
they
Instagram
have his leg set up.
There's a lot less followers than there
And he's
are
going to be getting up right
at
now.
the game right
It was
now.
number
I think
2.
our last count was 7,302. Again, a record attendance for our pitch. Thank you guys so much for being here. But you should all be following the ND Rugby team Instagram.
So less than 18 on the clock here, Charlie. It is really desperation time for Michigan and for Notre Dame. Mentioned it before, but starting to put some subs and starting to see some new faces, but also wanting to extend the lead. Why not? Just keep on getting the ball into the offensive half, but again, they're going to need to have a big-time stand here, and they look a little tired. I mean, they came out, just shot out of a cannon to start this second half, so they've definitely crashed a little bit, but trying to pick it up here in the last half of the second half.
Scrum upcoming after the injury and substitution delay. Notre Dame quickly makes another substitution over on the far side.
Another substitution.
Trying to figure out their personnel with 17:10 to go.
Jay
John
Murphy
Murphy entering the pitch
on for Matt Bray.
in green. Exiting the pitch is Matt Prame, senior number 12 out of Virginia. Here's Loughnane trying to offload it, but it was read beautifully by Packard and then kicked away by Notre Dame. And now it's a goose
Andrew
chase
Packard
after this
lays the
ball.
hammer down.
Getting back for it
Always getting his way.
is Maximo Nelson. Nelson is going to get it close to midfield.
Phenomenal hit from Packard just to totally change the dynamic of that possession right there. Just lowering his shoulder and boom, not being scared. That's exactly the key. And Packard setting the tone for Notre Dame defensively.
Yeah, interrupting that offload. There's another really high kick. And Portelli bobbles it backwards. It's still loose. The referee will blow his whistle and rule a knock-on against Michigan.
Knock on by
So
Michigan.
good work by
That'll be an
Portelli
Irish
to go up
scrum.
for that ball. And although he couldn't come down with it, did cause the knock-on. A couple more substitutions for both teams. Michigan 2 players entering, or
And the Trinidadian himself comes on. Alex Adams
Notre
from
Dame
Matt
won.
Williams.
as Matt
Big
Williams
round of
is
applause
going
for Rugby
to get the
Rugby
nod
Union.
that he's coming off the field. And it'll be Alex Adams, the senior, who enters. He's number 16. So we see both teams, but especially Notre Dame, start to really get into their bench, up 26 points. Jackson Graham still out there. Will Linky still out there.
Yeah, you
after
don't
he
see
took over.
Will Linky deliver to scrum too often, but interesting to see. And that's, the end of the game. So they're really just starting to try out different things as, wow, Michigan blistering pace. Oh,
That's
my.
Shea Loughnane. He's going to kick it ahead, but it's good defense by Packard as Loughnane basically just covered more than half the field.
Good run by Michigan as a race fan.
Well defended in the end by Notre Dame, but for Loughnane, at worst, a field position advantage for the Wolverines now.
Yeah, quick 50-meter sprint right there. He went, bam.
They did well to pick up a bouncing kick and did even better to progress it that far. This is a big-time run. Michigan's starting to play with a little bit of flair on the offense.
Yeah, they seem to not really be losing any sort of desire. I mean, you know, you look at the score, but Michigan just keeps on going, and you respect that and love it. Exactly what you want to see out of a team right here, and they're going to try to get a few more points right here. It would just be good for, you know, the morale of this team.
And you never know, it's not over yet, but
yeah,
the way Notre Dame's defense is playing most of the game, and whenever they need their offense as well, it's going to be very tough to come back from. 4 tries down. Haven't scored. Michigan scoreless since the beginning of the first half. As Artis is going to kick it away. He's someone who has not come out of the game yet. McKenzie, Graham, Portelli also all still in there, as is Andrew LaFranchi.
Yeah, you mentioned
McKenzie
McKenzie and Graham. Those two just combined for a couple of passes. Wow, those two are just so electric together. They're so fast yet so big to the point where it's just scary. And as I'm talking about it, Jackson Graham's going to check out. But what a day for number 6.
2 tries for Jackson Graham, including that electric start to the second half.
Yep.
He's going to be replaced by Rocco Perry. Number 20 comes in and instantly joins the scrum. Jackson Graham, one of the premier players on this Notre Dame team, and we saw him in full force today with the 2-score game. Bouncing ball is picked up by the Wolverines. They'll try to get something going, try to get to double digits, but referee will call the play back. Knock on against Notre Dame. So Michigan, who had been playing with advantage, will get a controlled possession with 13 to go in the game.
Very positive showing here from Notre Dame. Talked before the game. Likely winners coming in today, but just living up to the bill, and they've played very well. They played, I mean, a very electric offense. They started the second half. That's the definition of electric, and they've had a phenomenal game thus far. Looking to see it out here in these last 12 minutes.
Yeah, it didn't exactly start all butterflies and rainbows and roses for them. They went down 5-0, and Michigan had another chance to score, but it started with a goal line stand and then turned it into a score on the offense. Nearly had one. We mentioned that kick play in the first half, where it was eventually called back for offsides. How that, although the points don't go on the board if you're Michigan, you're still, you don't forget. It's not like that play never happened.
Yeah.
So you have to think that Michigan maybe felt a little vulnerable. You could kind of feel the momentum shift, and then 31 straight points. Notre Dame has taken over the game officially.
I remember that play. I said it was a bit of a Houdini act. That was just a phenomenal play. I believe it was Will Linke with the kick. And Notre Dame, stuff like that, just so creative with the ball, very inspiring. And then the physicality of this team, the rolling mauls that we've seen. There's just been so many positives to take away from this game. And, I mean, again, it's not over yet, but a very, very positive showing so far for this Fighting Irish team, and they would have to do a lot to mess it up in these next 10 minutes.
Line out coming for the Wolverines as the clock continues to bleed on them. Team that at times this year has definitely struggled to score. Think about winning games 10-5, 15-5. They do have that offensive explosion against Trine where they put up 69 points, but other than that, not too much going for the offense in some of their games, and another example of that tonight. Just only so much your defense can do.
Yeah, and they have speed, but when you're going against a very well-balanced, disciplined defense like the Notre Dame Fighting Irish's defense, it's going to be hard to get in behind them. And as much speed as you have, if it's just countered by pure force, physicality, and then also, I mean, Notre Dame's got speed too, it's going to be hard for the Michigan offense to really create anything of substance. And that's been the issue. They've had the ball, but creating things that are significant, things that could really lead to a try. I mean, again, a couple of times where they were right there in the try line, but that Notre Dame defense just was so disciplined that they were stopped.
There's a good play from the Wolverines and full steam ahead. for Maximo Nelson. He's eventually dragged down. That was picked up by Zana. And Zana will keep going with it, but he's forced back by a couple green jerseys. Michigan trying to punch it through for the first time in the half. Try it with Gretter. And now they continue to move from right to left towards the middle of the field and eventually to the left side, nearly bursting through. Good ankle tackle by the Irish.
It looked like a slip inside there. No, kick.
Lochnane's going to kick it towards the touchline, and it takes a Notre Dame bounce and goes into touch. It's a good idea from Lochnane and the Wolverines, trying to get a try on the exterior, but just bounced. You never know how a rugby ball is going to bounce, and that one bounced about as straight as you'll see a rugby ball bounce, and not what Lochnane was hoping for.
Yeah, very insightful play there from the Michigan fly half. Just super smart, and we talked about that on the other side of this pitch there that Notre Dame did in the first half. So, again, creativity there from Michigan, but they just can't get it done. And that, again, has been another theme so far today. Michigan right there just can't finish it off. And meanwhile, Notre Dame, well, they're the exact opposite. They've been taking full advantage of their opportunities.
Yeah, we looked, Chris, at the mutual results against Bowling Green. We looked at the JV game. We looked at the rankings, and we were deciding, we were like, if Michigan is going to win this game, they have to have the better defense today, and it has to be way better than Notre Dame's defense, and that just hasn't been the case. Notre Dame's defense, just 5 points allowed through over 50 minutes, for over 70 minutes of play.
Yeah, I would like to think that's impressive. No, very, very, very impressive from Notre Dame so far, and again, that defense is just stellar. And it's a sign of a well-coached team. I mean, I've said discipline about 20 times. That's a coach right there at practice, making sure when they're out here in the game, they're not making stupid mental errors and playing as one unit, one team, one family.
And we saw to open the second half, and at times this game they have been victim to penalties, but they've really cleaned up their game in the second part of the second half. Really, not any knock-ons, not any penalties on tackles or mauls or scrums or anything like that. Their lineouts have been straight. They've been winning their own scrums and even winning some of Michigan's scrums. So you have to give credit to Notre Dame for cleaning up that discipline. And Michigan just hasn't been able to say the same, and it's one of the reasons that they're down 26.
And they had a good over-the-shoulder pass there, but we're going to see if it can result to anything.
Yeah, there's some back-and-forth juke moves from Noah Alvarez. Trying to find his way through that is going to be a knock-on from Michael Ackerman as he just dropped the low pass, and in his attempt to pick it up, he was trying to be slick and could not fool the referee, who is alert as per usual. He's had a good game out there. A couple tough plays. You think about Artis diving for that try attempt in the first half, ruled that he didn't get it. Think about that offsides call when Artis was on the right sideline. We can't tell, but we're going to go with his judgment on that one. Think about some of the penalties he's called. He's really, there was a scrum early on in the first half, and of course these teams don't like each other. It's going to be a physical, hard-fought game, but there hasn't been really any drama. So give credit to the referee crew, 2 line judges, and the field referee as McKenzie is going to break a couple ankles. Again, the slippery field's not doing defenders any favors.
Patrick McKenzie is just a wild animal out there. Tasmanian devil. Just everywhere. Just can't stop him.
Is there an animal you can think of that is so powerful that he's hard to tackle when he's going straight, but also able to make juke moves like that?
I would say the Tasmanian devil in Looney Tunes.
Good by me. We're going to get a whistle blown here. Under 6 to play.
Although, not a big animal guy. Don't know too much about wildlife and whatnot. Never been my strong suit.
Well, I could say the same thing about science and math, so to each their own, I suppose.
Yeah.
But 5.5 minutes to go in this rugby match. They're playing again for the DeHaven and Harless Memorial Trophy. Notre Dame winners in every year since 2016, except for last year. Michigan had come in looking to make it 2 in a row, but the Irish have been strong in this one and looking to stop the losing streak at just 1 year.
And something worth mentioning, too, is that trophy is a traveling trophy.
Here's a run down the left side, and Michigan is going to not ground the ball. I believe that ball stayed in the air. There's going to be a conversation. Referee has done a good job, again, of this tonight. When he doesn't know for sure, he asks the line judge. It looked like Michigan for sure was getting in on the far side with Max Nelson.
Good job by Allen.
And if not, that's a stand and a half from Notre Dame to
that would be
prevent
a
it.
crazy tackle, and I don't see any indication to. Actually, it looks like the Michigan players are beginning to jog back to the middle as if that's going to be counted as a try.
Unfortunately, that high tackle will be called a yellow card for Colin Artis.
And it's also a yellow card.
He will
So
be sent
Artis
to
on the high
the
tackle
sitting
is going to
room.
get nabbed.
Also,
Have to go off the pitch for the rest of the game.
New Jersey guy, Colin Artis. So shout out to him. Shout out to everybody from New Jersey watching the stream right now. Hello from a fellow Garden State guy. But Charlie, even though letting up a try here is a bit of a punch in the gut, of course it would have been nice to hold them to single digits. Notre Dame has had, 1, a great game, and 2, I've been so impressed by the mentality of this team. To go down 15-0 against Bowling Green to win that game. To go down against Western Michigan to win that game. To go down today, and again, you know, if the memory of a goldfish, just keep on going, very short memory, just keep on playing. And even when they have great plays, they kept on going, right? So never get too high, never get too low. And that's been something that I've found to be elite so far about this Notre Dame team.
Yes, this would be their 3rd win of the very young 2024 season, and all 3 will have been come from behind wins of different degrees. This one and Western Michigan game will only have been 1 try deficit. It's the Bowling Green game, a 3-try deficit, but nonetheless, a comeback is a comeback, and in this sport, offense can be hard to come by, and it's one of those sports where the team that scores first is going to win most of the time, but Notre Dame has been bucking that trend so far this year, but Michigan is making it happen on the offense.
Yeah, we got a track meet right here near side of the pitch.
Yeah, that's Brendan Willis, the only senior on the listed roster for Michigan today. Number 21 in blue. That was a experience-like run.
It's going to be an awkward senior night.
Ha. Counter ruck. Michigan takes over now, and there's a tackle on Small. Michigan playing with advantage. That was definitely a high tackle, and there's the official call. Under 2.5 to play. Michigan moving quick, and doing so without any disagreement from the official. Jack Reagan trying to cut it inside. He's tackled on the ankles by Collie Erden. And that's dropped in the middle of the field.
Yeah, players' bodies are starting to wear down. You can see guys just bending over, gasping for air. And I mean, with 2 minutes left, I think even the players are looking at the clock saying, just get out of here, guys. Especially this Michigan team. They want to go home. And I don't know if they have a home game tomorrow, but if they do, I'm sure all these guys will be there.
Now under 2 to go, big lead for Notre Dame.
Just 2 minutes to go.
Michigan has the first and the last score of this game, but Notre Dame with a 31 points in sandwich in between there. Scrum upcoming, and the Irish will win it. McKenzie, that's a good tackle. Well done by Michigan's Willis. He's been making it happen on the field for the Wolverines as the second half wanes down.
Yeah.
And just content to kick it away here.
And this is what you're going to see with Notre Dame when they get the ball. Try to just kick it back, waste some clock, and see this one out.
Kick is going to bounce towards the corner. That might stay in bounds. And it does. McKenzie has to pick it up and does well to just get rid of it. It's in the hands, though, of Janke. Janke to the middle. And Kean Jacobs trying to get there. Jacobs is wrestled down. Good tackle by the Irish to keep Michigan temporarily out of the try zone. 40 seconds to go in this one. Now a try scored by Jeremy Owusu. He's on the board, and Michigan's got 2 straight tries. That was a quick moving, effective offensive possession. The Wolverines showing us something in these last 5 minutes.
The big man celebrating, 5'11", 240 pounds. Guy is just a tank from England, and showing some real raw emotion after that one. Maybe saying, hey, coach, put me in that starting lineup. Getting a try in the last second of the game. But, yeah, it stinks for Notre Dame, of course, as is, you know, in terms of defensively. I mean, of course, 5 points looks nicer than 17, but both teams get what they want. I mean, Notre Dame gets the huge W, and Michigan gets a little bit of momentum, I'd say, to end the game here. Especially the last 20 minutes, it was mostly just Michigan ball.
Yeah, you got to be happy if you're Michigan's head coach with how your team battled despite falling into a big deficit. And, of course, you're happy if you're Notre Dame's coach, thinking about the multi-score win today as the clock is officially 0, so this should be the last play of the game. Conversion is up and through, so make it 19 for the Wolverines.
Yeah, and this Michigan team has never bowed their heads and called it quits, even though this game definitely did get out of their reach at a point. And now 31-19 looks, again, as I mentioned, a lot nicer than 31-5. So kudos to this Michigan team for battling, and kudos to this Notre Dame team because they will be keeping this trophy back in South Bend, and it will be a huge win for Coach Kickey and the Irish.
Yeah, so the time on our score bug, the unofficial time, seems the clock came to a stop when one of those injuries happened here in the second half. So only the referee on the pitch knows the official time, and no matter what, we're nearing the end of it, but it's not officially over yet. So one more kickoff from Alan Gordon. Michigan will get to work on offense again. Fans start filing out here at Stinson Rugby Field. Home team coming away with the victory. I have to imagine about a minute or two maybe still on the clock. Can't be much more than that. As the Wolverines trying to bulldoze forward. The ball's free. Maybe another injury is slow to get to his feet is Matt Danes.
Yeah, that does not look good. He is really holding his knee or ankle as Michigan keeps going. Oh, my.
Yeah, Plockmeyer down the left side. Ball's free, and it's grounded. What's the call? Another quick meeting coming between the officials. They'll call it a knock-on, and that will end the game. So, final score, Notre Dame 31, Michigan 19. The Fighting Irish take home the DeHaven and Harless Memorial Trophy. After losing last year, they defend their home turf tonight. They come away with the win, Chris.
Yeah, back in South Bend is the DeHaven and Harless Trophy, which is huge for Notre Dame. The trophy holds so much historic significance to both the rugby program here and the football program. DeHaven and Harless were huge in teaching this Notre Dame University back in the late 1800s about a physical brand of football, teaching them kind of the modern way of football at the time, which wasn't, you know, looking today, definitely a far cry of the modern football that we see, but it was very adjacent and similar to rugby back then, right? So obviously American football originated from rugby. So again, historically speaking, huge win for Notre Dame, and so many positives to take away from today. A huge win, great attendance, and Charlie, was an honor to announce with you yet again. Phenomenal game.
Yeah, that's my partner Chris Daly. We've got Nick Ruthroff and Sam Ohaj behind the scenes doing great as per usual. I'm Charlie Morris saying so long from South Bend. Thanks for watching Notre Dame Rugby on the Notre Dame Rugby YouTube channel. Notre Dame 31, Michigan 19, the final score.